I am so excited for this video today. I met with one of my good friends and one of my referral partners, Ayshe Tayfun. She is such a great individual with just so much wisdom and knowledge when it comes to business. And I really got a lot by sitting down with this interview with her and just getting her perspective on how she started her business and the things she wishes she would have done and I wish I would have done when we first started our businesses. Before we get started with the interview, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jeanette Andrada. I help accounting professionals confidently take on new clients and charge more for their services. Without further ado, here is Ayshe.
Welcome, Ayshe. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself before we get into the content of this video?
Absolutely. I'm Ayshe Tayfun. I'm the owner of MET Health and Financial Solutions. I work with individuals and businesses of any size with their employee benefits. I really focus on providing a customized solution for every single client because there really is no one size fits all. I also provide life insurance, including investment grade life insurance products. I really love that and helping people plan for their financial future. And I'm really excited to be here with you today, Jeanette.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited too. And this is the first video that we're going to create in this series. And I thought it would be a great idea to start with the video to go over what we wish somebody would have told us when we started our business. First thing that I think, and let me know if you agree, is I really wish from the beginning I would have focused in on creating relationships with referral partners. I feel like that has helped me out tremendously in growing my business as well as be able to provide my clients resources that I can't provide for them.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. That was honestly one of the few things that I think I did right when I first started out, but I was sort of forced into doing that because of COVID. Because I started my business in February of 2020, and then of course COVID hit just a few weeks after that. If that's a direction that people want to go in, which I completely agree with you, is really necessary, it takes time. Not every person is going to warm up to you or actually follow through, and that's okay. It's like any other relationship. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And even if you only have one conversation with somebody, that's okay. You're making connections and you never know where they can lead. And that's actually how Jeanette and you and I met I was connected to you through somebody on Facebook, and we just kept the relationship alive, and we always had reasons to connect. And then we became friends, and it really is, I definitely consider you a friend now. So it just so happens that we also work together.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's not always going to happen, but it will happen. But you have to really make an effort to connect with other people. It took more effort, for you and I. If we had met in person, it would have happened even faster. Right.
So that's the funny thing, right? Like we met off of a Facebook group, and we just kind of kept that relationship going, which it's kind of crazy, but it's pretty cool. So recently, Ayshe and I met for the first time. I went to Baton Rouge to go visit, and we went to New Orleans and had some fun over there. And had some really great food. But yeah, it does take time. I love that you point that out, because when I first started, I didn't realize that. And I had no experience in sales marketing, and I had no idea how to network and how to make connections. I think going with the creating a relationship with referral partners is networking. Like I wish I knew more about networking and how to get out there, meet people, build relationships. And just like you, I started my business in January 2020. So we were both COVID business babies, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, if you could do it through a social media space where you don't see somebody face to face all the time, you could definitely do it in person. Networking is so powerful. It's very powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And really think about identifying who is going to be an important partner in your sphere. So it, of course, obviously you and I professionally are a fit for any other business owners who are trying to create a referral network. They need to do the same. So what service do you provide that a close referral partner might also need that they don't already provide? And then identify what services your clients might need that are an extension of what you do. Identify 5 or 6 professions that you're going to want to connect with, so that when you are out and about networking, it's meaningful. If you do need an accountant as a referral partner, obviously, find out who the accountant is in the room. You do want to be intentional about it, but not so transactional when you do find that person. Like, really take the time to get to know them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. When I network with individuals, I make sure that I build that relationship first with these referral partners, because I can't, with a good, with good intentions, send somebody over to a client that I don't fully know what they do, or I don't know the quality of their work and things like that. And that's one way to get to know them, is by building that relationship and seeing what kind of person they are. Because at the end of the day, like for me, that my clients I'm very overprotective of them. And there are some really great people out there, and sometimes there's people that don't have the best intentions at heart when it comes to working with clients. So I definitely think that relationship part is really important in knowing who to trust and who to send people over.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because even if you do really like someone, and what if they never follow up with your client? What if they never reach out to them in the first place? Correct. And your level of service is not being maintained once you pass that referral on. That's not okay.
Yeah.
And it reflects badly on you, even though
you have nothing to do with it.
It just does. It just does. You're like, well, Jeanette, you sent me to this person and I trust you. And so I reached out to them. And then nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. If I send somebody to you and you don't, do the best job, then it's gonna reflect on my business. And so that's why I think it's really important to, find a really great match, and somebody that is going to provide quality services to protect your image and to protect your clients, and make sure that their time is not being wasted either. But that's definitely something I wish I would have been advised on, is like building that relationship and those clients, or networking with prospective clients, and just networking in general, making connections. I never realized how important that was to grow a business until I started a business.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Prior to us starting this recording, we were talking about, what advice do we wish we would have had? One other thing that we mentioned was identifying our strengths. Do you want to speak to that?
Talking about networking is what made me think of that, because that's definitely a question I constantly ask myself, is what are your strengths? You definitely want to draw on them to make your business as successful as you can by capitalizing on those strengths, right? So for me, I thought, okay, well, marketing is always such a huge topic on every business owner's mind. Mm-hmm. What's the best way for me to market? Well, you think, well, I have to do everything. I have to do social media. I have to pay for Google ads. Somebody said recently, well, your strength is relationships and networking. I'm like, you're right. That's really where I need to invest most of my time on the marketing side, because that is a strength. When it comes to being a business owner, especially when you're starting out, you think, well, I can't turn anybody away. I'm brand new to the business. I need to focus on growing my business, even if a client isn't the best fit. Well, a client for me, that's not the best fit, is somebody who doesn't really care about being educated on the product. The problem with that is it causes problems down the line. So identifying even the right client can also be a strength
too. Yeah,
it is.
That's definitely.
Yeah. Because if you're not a fit, it doesn't matter if you're still building your business, that business may not stay on the books. Right?
Exactly. And I feel like it applies on my side too. And I think I have a lot of similar strengths that you do, as far as, marketing and identifying who the best client is for your business, and if you could even help them. And I think I love this pointer of being able to identify your strengths early on, because a lot of times as business owners, we try to do everything at once. And it doesn't feel that, I mean, we kind of have to, when you first get started, we wear a lot of hats, but it does get to a certain point where you have to focus in on the things that you could do best for your business and outsource a lot of what you don't need to be spending time on. A lot of clients work with me when they get to that point, right? So because I offer the accounting service and bookkeeping services, they will like, okay, I can't take this on my own. You do it. Definitely as a business owner, just identify those strengths from the beginning. If marketing is not your strength, outsource it. You focus in on building processes or doing the accounting work or doing, the financial service work, if that's what you're good at. Don't focus on marketing. If you're not great, you're not going to get results.
Right. Well, and I think that's a perfect segue to investing in yourself and your business.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the third item that we discussed about, advice we wish somebody would have given us. Investing, learning the difference, right, between an investment and an expense. I think a lot of people associate the exchange of money for an expense. And that's not always the case. When I started my business, I was doing everything. And then I got to a point where it's like, okay, I have to decide between marketing or serving my clients. And it's kind of a catch-22 because you want to do both. You don't want to stop marketing because you want to keep growing, but then you can't serve your clients if you keep marketing and bringing in new clients. So my first investment was hiring an employee. That, a lot of business owners, when they hire employees, they think of that as an expense. And I never think about hiring that type of help, because without the employees, I couldn't be where I'm at. So it's different.
You wouldn't have time to do this recording right now.
Oh, absolutely not. I would be plugging away at a computer and I wouldn't be able to focus on marketing efforts. That's something I wish I would have invested sooner. I was in business for almost a year before I hired my first employee, and I was just at the brim. And by the time she started, poor thing, I was just like, there's no formal way of doing anything. There's no process. Like, I just know what I know because it's in my head. So she really helped me come up with like processes and
that's awesome.
That's another thing, that if you're doing everything on your own, what happens when you get sick? What happens when you want to take a vacation? You can't tell your clients like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do your taxes, or I'm not going to, meet this deadline, run your payroll because I want to take vacation. So those are definitely things to consider early on. And whatever, again, going with the strengths. If it's not your strength, or if you are good at like the accounting stuff, for example, then hire someone to do the marketing. But you have to give and take and not try to do everything on your own.
Yeah, even the basic administrative tasks. Just forget basic administrative tasks. Just any task that's very time consuming that can either be automated or somebody else can do for you without compromising anything to do with the client. Like, the client still gets to work with you, so they're not losing that personal touch, but there are certain things that can be made more efficient.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's definitely so many areas in your business. You'd be surprised how many things you could just give to somebody else and delegate to somebody else.
The point of all that is not, what are ways I can spend money on my business? It's how can I really maximize my strengths? Like you were, like we've been talking about, a focus on that, which is really being the service provider to your client, and then letting all that outside, I don't want to say noise, it's all unnecessary, but it's really not the focus of your business.
I feel like these three are really solid points, because they are ultimately would have changed the direction of my business a lot sooner. And those are things, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video and these types of videos is because I think it's really important as business owners to empower other business owners and help them understand, or help them get to know something that took us a long time. Like, you don't have to go through this for months or even years. This is advice coming from people that have already gone.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think this was awesome. I think we could talk about this for hours, honestly.
For hours, yeah. For sure. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Ayshe.
Thank you, Jeanette.